15 minutes. Redefining manhood. Real Talk, Men Talk, you joining us live, but really the real talk is going to be, I would say, after this. So if you want to be a part, I ask you to come and be a part of our Real Talk, Men Talk, 1818 North Confederate. It's just not a Kingdom Church thing, Kingdom Church man, but it definitely is, I would say, multicultural, multifaceted. It is a community organization. Man Up. We got some great things coming up for us. Man Up. We're going to be taking some of our young men to the ball game. Take me out to the ball game. So we're excited about that. And even those, just excited about, giving back to our community. But I want to talk about redefining manhood. Boys, in a sense, I would say are fragmented, but men are whole. When you're a boy, you have the potential to become a man. But when you're a boy, you're not fully have exercised things in your life to really matriculate to the place of actually being a man. Men are made, you're born a male, but you're made a man. Boys versus manhood, I would like boys as a part of, it's a fraction. A boy is a fraction of who you are. When you're a man, you should step into the wholeness of who you are. Not saying you got everything figured out, not saying you got all I's, dotted, all T's crossed, but manhood is more about wholeness, and being a boy is more like depicted as being a fraction of who you are. As far as manhood, I think manhood, it deals with independence and also interdependence. Independent means I like to do things on my own, but also sometimes we can overlook interdependence as far as manhood. Independence, yes, we understand independence. We have to value our independence, but oftentimes I think men fail in the areas of being interdependent, being connected with each other. It's kind of like a wolf. Wolves come in packs. And certain part, y'all can talk. Y'all, we got a live audience full of men, believe it or not. But it's kind of like I would say that wolves come in packs. So it's okay to be a part of an interdependent type of community that'll help evolve you in your manhood areas, money, marriage, finances, just the whole nine. But wolves, I would say they have a type of hierarchy.
Yes, sir.
And I think a lot of men are not good with interdependent relationships because they always have to be the main man.
Yes, sir.
They have to be the alpha. They really don't know how to be the beta. So when it comes to interdependence relationships, they just, they got to be the one. If they're not the one, they don't want to be a part of the pack. So they'll rather isolate themselves. And I think sometimes it's men because we don't like to be vulnerable. We like to make it seem like we got things figured out on our own. We truly don't really value the essence of being interconnected and interdependent with one another. Independence is good. We should crave independence to a certain degree, but oftentimes if we always be independent in everything that we do, we'll continue to be fragmented. We won't really be whole in our life. So as men, I definitely believe we got to embrace our wholeness. In order to embrace our wholeness, sometimes, although we believe in independence and also interdependence, being connected with other men, but when you embrace wholeness, sometimes as a man, Dwayne, you got to be willing to stand on your own.
Yes.
What I mean by that, you got to be willing to stand against the tide. Although everyone else is going one direction, but as a real man, that's not the direction you need to go in for you and your family, because when you really mature and being the man, you like, hey, I'm not going to do that. That's not the place I'm trying to go. It's not the people I'm trying to be around. Good seeing my brother Preston in here today. That's not what I'm trying to do. So in other words, being a manhood, you got to, I would say, being interdependent, but also dependent enough on other people's, but also independent enough that I'm my own man. I make decisions for myself. Y'all join us live, but the Real Talk Men Talk going to happen really 8 more minutes from now. I'm just opening up a topic. Then all these brothers going to talk, and we're going to shut down the live. So if you really want the Real Talk Men Talk, you can't get on the live. You got to be right here, 1818 North Confederate. But it's standing against the tide. There's a power of being connected with other men. I spoke with a lot of friends. Even before I pastored, one of my great friends here today, he said, Pastor Darius, Minister Harris, he said, you're going to hear so many stories from men you can't even believe. So be prepared. So you have to be prepared the stories that you're going to hear when other men are leaning for your help. You can't go through things on your own. Most men say I'm good, and the truth is, you ain't good.
Yes, sir.
You're going through health issues and whatever that may be. You may act like you're good, but you're not good. You're going through financial issues. Most men, it drives them to a place of almost crazy when you're going through real deep financial issues that you seem like you can't overcome. So you ain't good.
Amen.
You got to talk to somebody about that you can confide in. You know, it's good, you know, to talk to your wife, but some things, you know, you don't want to always put it on your wife because, you want to talk to someone who can understand you, someone who is like you.
Yes, sir.
So that's why I don't think it's wise to always vent to your wife.
Amen.
So although you telling her you good, you are good, but you just need someone else like you to understand you, to identify with you. So there's a power in being connected. Proverbs 25:12, it says this: the one who listens to valid criticism is like a golden earring or other gold jewelry. In order to be better as a man, that's why it's very important to be connected with other men, because real men will give you real advice.
Amen.
You know, they'll tell you something you really don't want to hear, but you need to hear. It's kind of like the scripture says that faithful are the wounds of a friend
Yes, sir.
are better, than kisses of an enemy. Because, someone who really don't want to see you do better, they'll just tell you doing good. And sometimes as men, we can make the mistake going to the praises of other people instead of going to the critics of those who really love us.
That's good.
Let me use this for example. If your wife is always on your case and she keep talking about whatever situation it is, that means she loves you.
Amen.
But sometimes as men, if we're not careful, we'll run to the praise of a harlot, a hoe. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say don't lie. We'll run to the praise of someone who really don't know who we are, instead of dealing with what we have with at home and embracing that criticism.
Yes, sir.
So as men, it's real easy to escape. We got 5 more minutes online. It's real easy to escape the criticism of those who love us and run to the praises. We all like praise.
Yes, sir.
That's part of our DNA. That's part of our fiber. That's part of the way God made us. We all like praise from little boys. Look at you, man. You strong and you got muscles, and look at you, man. You ride your bike. We all need an element of praise. We all do. We need it. It makes us strive. It makes us feel better. It helps strokes our ego, because I believe men have an ego. We have a strong exterior, but oftentimes if we're not honest with ourselves, we have a weak interior. Because some of us haven't really had father figures or male mentors in our life. So when they speak to us and it seems as if those are kind of rough kind of manner, we don't know how to embrace it. So we run away from the criticism that's going to build us. Then we run to the praise that's going to kill us. All praise is not good praise.
Amen.
Because if it's not telling us the truth. They're going to tell you the truth on your job when you're not getting those numbers, the productivity. They're going to tell you the truth. So iron sharpens iron. Proverbs 27:17, that's part of our theme scriptures, the Real Talk Men Talk. Iron sharpens iron. To me, this speaks of a mutual effect. Like that's why I like for this to be dialogue instead of monologue, because I'm sharpened by y'all wisdom. We are sharpened by each other's experiences, things we have been through in our life. That will keep us sharp. We're rubbing against each other. We're sharp. So if we don't come together on a consistent basis, we're getting dull.
Yes, sir.
I heard one man say, he's in this room, Elder Wood said that, we're not getting sharpened just, to cut anything. We're getting sharpened to cut some real stuff in life.
Yes, sir.
We don't want to be dull like a butter knife.
Yes, sir.
And we don't have men groups like this. We'll be dull like butter knives when situations come our way. We can't cut anything. We mentioned that wounds of a sincere friend are better than kisses of an enemy. Another example of an interdependent connection or relationship, I would say David and Jonathan.
Yes, sir.
David needed Jonathan. Jonathan needed David. This was a very secure relationship that they had. A good connection, a good male bond. They was tight. They was road dogs. They was boys. They was, well, most of the time men don't say Betsy's. I guess they say they was friends. They was dogs, right?
Yes, sir.
To the point that Jonathan gave his armor bearer to David, although legally and rightfully maybe not spiritually because God said, but legally and rightfully, he was the heir to the throne.
Yes, he was.
But he saw something on David. He said, David, I can't let you represent this way. So let me give you my clothes. Let me give you my gear. Let me give you my attire. So you want to have that kind of connection. You got a true friend in your life, one or two or three, or a group that someone can help see the best in you and can push you to your destination, and they're not intimidated of your goals, your gifts, your ambition. That's the kind of relationship you got to keep. Like, we can't experience life and things on our own. So David and Jonathan, they improved each other's lives. They had friendship, provided mutual encouragement, support, and accountability. The other thing I like to say, as we redefine manhood, 10 minutes, and we're going to have a real talk, men talk. Boys are fragmented. As a boy, it's your only potential of the fullness of God wants you to be. So in order to matriculate to be a man, you really got to tap into your purpose. This real talk, man talk. Now we're finna get into real talk. Thank y'all for tuning in for these few minutes.